Hello, everybody. This is Cindy Allen, Editor-in-Chief of Interior Design, and welcome one, welcome all to the second week of Best in Design 2020. A 2-week-long online design event honoring the best of the best in design, a combination film festival, awards platform, thought leadership, and a big old bash bringing the community together. So exciting, right? And this week, we are celebrating our Best of Year awards. Hooray! And today is day 4, and for the very first time, listen up, we honor the talented people behind the design who are shaping and changing the world for the better. Oh yes, today we celebrate the Best of People awards. Are you ready? I am. Now, first things first, a heartfelt thank you to our sponsors. Thank you, Material Bank. Thank you, MECO and SWF Contract. Thank you, Tucci. Thank you, Turf. And finally, thank you to our Best of Year sponsor, Claris, who also created this year's winner awards and honoree plaques and this fabulous backdrop. Now, let's face it, this year would have been easy to say, no awards, there's no in-person event, our bulbs are costly to make and heavy and bulky to ship all around the globe. But no. We wanted something special for you, and Claris said yes. We needed something flat and shippable, so they used their UV print technology, it's called Color Drop, made the panels fun and customizable, so you can play around with the order of the glass, and you still see our signature light bulb, right? Oh, and when it was just about perfect, I asked, can we light it up? And without missing a beat, Claris said yes. And voila, the whole award glows. So, here are the rules of the game. After the awards, be on the lookout for an email from Interior Design for details on receiving your digital assets and your award. Now, in a normal year, you'd come up on stage, accept your award, hugs all around, take a photo. This year, we gotta be creative. So, take selfies, take pics of the screen, and post on social using hashtag IDBoyAwards, and tag Interior Design Mag. Tag me at the Cindygram, and let's spread the design love around. Got it? Are you ready? I miss you guys. Let's imagine we're together, okay? All right, let's go with the Best of Year people. And the first category is Architect, and it's actually a partnership. He started out modeling at 16. It never took off, and he didn't grow an inch since. Her first job was an architectural designer at Booth Hanson in Chicago, right after college. Art is a big escape for both of them. He is an amateur art collector, both in the works of Thai masters and Thai contemporary artists. She recently started sketching and drawing, saying it trains the eye to the intricacies of details and to observe things in a slower manner. Inspiration for him comes from visually stimulating films like Apocalypse Now, Blade Runner, and The Fall. She travels into new territories for inspiration and to gain a wider perspective. But together in their studio in Bangkok, they move between disciplines, grounded in architecture, but stretching into interiors and landscape. They believe their work goes beyond the physical to propose new possibilities of use and function. For the Common Saladong, the architectural guiding light is bold red rubber sheets. Wow. The color pops, and it also speaks to the site's history, a nearby old red roof train station. Love that. Elsewhere in Thailand, this little jewel of a hotel is contemporary, but flirts with tradition of crafted wood ornament and the shingle pitched roof. They've incorporated those wood shingles and found a perfect place for oversized umbrellas. And the translucent building skin brings in light. The Commons relies on open air and gardens. The result? It's been said that it feels like the walls could breathe and that the building is alive. Just what we need. This dynamic duo's mission is to reimagine and create new possibilities of how people could use space, and we couldn't agree more. They are Amata and Tweety of Department of Architecture. A huge congrats. And our architect honorees are Dan Brunn and Kevin Lee of Setra Ruddy. Now, the next category is Rising Star. This Rising Star architect loves to travel. From the back streets of Mexico City to enjoying the romance of architecture, and then to the landscape of play at the Shanghai Expo. In college, he worked as a cook a full summer to spend 2 weeks in Brazil. He suffered the heat in the kitchen to enjoy the heat in Brazil. He shared a lot of design first, like his first car design, his first lighting design called the Sympathetic Ball, and his first furniture design called the Wave. His work includes a village of townhouses in South Korea composed of a community center, 48 single residences, parks, and amenities. Lightness and simple geometries dominate. His ongoing question is, how will architecture serve the needs of society while considering the environment? A house and spa in rural Latvia are anchored by their relationship to 4 large trees and a pond. He liberated the structure from all right angles to be in sync with nature. For a pavilion in South Korea, he built a cloud forest where white balloons are not directly connected to pink bars, but seem to dance above them. It had a total budget of, check this out, $4,000. Wow. For Daring Vision, our Rising Star Architect winner is Sang Dae Leap of United Lab Associates. Congrats. Amazing. Okay, next category is Designer Rising Star. Now, it takes a man of steel to complete the Iron Man. This was in Spain, 2019. 11 hours, 11 minutes, and 52 seconds to be exact. When his body isn't moving, his mind is at chess. And he made this modern set from concrete. You should put it in production. He has nerves of steel too, because after only 5 months working for others, this Ukrainian-born architect started his own practice. This was for the Interpipe factory exterior in 2012. This 2013 educational space was built from scratch and furnished in just 45 days. Are you kidding me? A more recent stunner, Say No More, is meant to break away from the traditional perception of a conventional beauty salon and its gender distinction. For the Grammarly office, he created a home away from home for employees with warm textiles, pops of color, and careful attention to sound absorption. Thailand High is a cafe that is meant to teleport you from Kiev to Thailand. Oh yes. Sourcing markets, woodworking shops, and vintage dealers to design it. Pushing all boundaries for himself and his design, this Best of Year Rising Star goes to the multi-talented Slava Balbec of Balbec Bureau. Okay, everybody, I can't hear you. Okay, better. Let's keep going. Next up is residential designer. This Best of Year interior designer believes in what she calls the aesthetics of happiness. And that ethos stays true in all her design work, and I can prove it. I mean, who can put an 80-foot slide in a New York City penthouse and make it look chic? She can. Another Tribeca townhouse continues to prove her deft hand with color and pattern. Look at those polka dots. Plus a giant ping pong chandelier in one space and a styrofoam one in another. For a summer house in Montauk, each room got a unique scheme that speaks to the personality of the family and how the home should function. For graphics and branding, she leans on her talented hubby, Jaime. She says she has a little Pippi Longstocking in her that goes for bright colors and patterns. And you can see it loud and proud in her product design work too. She travels to get inspired by everything from colorful pudding in Mexico City to a plain old bucket spotted in Vietnam. And after spreading all her design happiness around, she finds her own cheer biking through the streets of Manhattan. For leading her firm for 20 years and bringing happiness to all our lives, and don't we all deserve some these days, our Best of Year interior designer goes to Guylaine Vignas. Yay! Okay, next up we have Best of Design for Corporate Interiors. Our next Best of Year interior designer learned early on from a master, Joe Durso, her professor at Pratt. He took her under his wing and taught her about minimalism, clarity, and about the power of removing clutter. Remember this Central Park studio he designed? Perfection. Durso continues to influence her work for the past 30 years. She is managing executive and studio creative director at TPG. And she never embellishes. She keeps the space as pure as possible. She always honors and respects the bones of a building and the history of her mega clients. Like celebrating the decorative and historic stairs, but modernizing the workspace for today's ever-changing needs. This Class A tower in the heart of Chicago's historic West Loop got stripped to its existing bones to make the building feel as though it belonged within the setting of Chicago's renowned international architecture. Oh yes. The design team placed an emphasis on celebrating the building's dynamic attributes, including the high ceilings and statement granite wall. Her philosophy is creating sculptural focal points that anchor spaces, like exposing those original beams and the diagonal trusses. Or here under the floating stairs where the company commissioned contemporary paintings and sculptures from local New York artists. And speaking of her clients, her relationships are long-lasting like this one, a repeat client who was relocating and called on her expertise. In work and in life, she knows how to reel in the big fish. Would you look at that sea bass? She's an avid fisherman, a sport she learned from her dad. It taught her patience and that quick moment, that element of surprise when you hook one. That dichotomy kind of sums this Best of Year winner to a T. Elegant, devoted, and a multi-talented and multifaceted designer who continues to mentor others while fostering an ongoing dialogue about race and representation in the industry. Her vision has been recognized across the industry, and we're glad to continue this winning streak for corporate interiors. Here is Mavis Wiggins of TPG. Yay, Mavis! Hooray! And our interior design honorees are Kimberly Jackson of Abraco, Jay Jeffers, Julie Michaels of SOM, and Jaco Strauss of the Lore Group. Next up, our Best of Year lighting designer. Here we go. He swears he realized he loved design on day 5 of his life when his crib broke. He said it was just too dark, and he's followed the light ever since. He founded his firm almost 30 years ago after cutting his teeth on little projects, like working on the Louvre. His mentor, and what a grand one to have, is Frank Gehry, who told him, choose your client before your client chooses you. Well, he took that advice to heart and works with all the greats, like Stephen Hall, Thomas Heatherwick, Diller Scofidio Renfrew, Bjarke Ingels, Peter Marino, James Turrell, and of course, his mentor, Frank Gehry, whose project you see here. Unbelievable, right? With light as his tool, he gives materiality to architecture and space, revealing their aesthetic qualities to define both the experience and the memory of an environment. Unforgettable. At the National Museum of Qatar by Jean Nouvel, the light emanates from the core at night to help the museum look like this glorious, multifaceted jewel. And the museum unfolds a living and mysterious element, creating a sensation of freedom surrounding the city. The lighting design is unique and sculptural, supporting an ever-changing cultural landscape. The singular linear experience of the Highline landscape, designed in collaboration with James Cornerfield Operations, Diller Scofidio and Renfrew, and Piet Oudolf, is marked by slowness, distraction, and an otherworldliness that preserves the strange, wild character of the Highline. The overall lighting strategy is a consistent low-level plane of light along the perimeter, lifting and floating the Highline above the city below. All light sources were kept at or below eye level. Brilliant. Thereby avoiding any glare or obstruction of the night sky and vistas around, keeping the Highline safe, visible, and unobstructed at night. Brilliant. He has been recognized many times over, and in 2008 was named Knight of the Order of Arts and Letters by the French Minister of Culture. And just yesterday, he won a Best of Year award for Shining Moment. This, the Dwight Eisenhower Memorial, designed by, yes, his mentor, Frank Gehry in Washington, D.C. You'd think he'd have his hands full with all these spectacular projects, but his office team swears he really does know how to enjoy life. For shining a light on the power, the mystery, and beauty of light, we are wowed by our Best of Year lighting designer, Hervé Descotes of L'Observatoire International. Yay, Hervé! And our lighting designer honoree is the amazing David Singer of Tonichi Studio and ArcLight Design. Okay, everybody, are you dancing in your living room? Are you posting on social? Remember, I want to hear you. All right, we have Rising Star for Innovation next, and this is another collaboration. A design firm working at the intersection of physical and digital space. Part architecture studio, part software engineering firm, and part innovation consultancy. And the partners of this triple mission firm are Triple Threat. The head of technology there rides the waves, teaching him to be in the moment with no electronics, to overcome fear, and to appreciate the luck of being at the right place at the right time. Oh yeah. The head of strategy is known by his coworkers for his enduring commitment to hammocks at home, in the woods, and in the office. The head of architecture's first job was making a cool origami style business card 20 years ago, complete with a micro pinhole camera that actually really works. Their combined energy of making and imagination intersect the physical and the digital. For a museum redesign whose collection includes antique telephones and those early cell phones, they created an interactive experience with virtual reality and touch screens. An avant-garde, immersive depiction of the history of communication and the humanities. A new healthcare experience is now a reproducible model for future locations, featuring a calming modular Zen pod concept for treatment rooms and an aesthetic that addresses the democratization of high-end skincare. Thanks for that. With an eye on design and social justice, they partnered with the Justice Collaborative's Need to Talk campaign and Color of Change for an impactful new dynamic billboard in Times Square. The messaging communicates disparities between funds dedicated to policing as compared to other social programs and asks people to imagine a better way to prevent violence, support youth, and remedy homelessness. They say they are creating the future they want to live in. Well, sign me up, boys. Our best of year design trio in innovation is Lucas, Noah, and Marcelo of Cactus. Terrific, guys. And our designer Rising Star honorees go to Nelson Chow of NC Design and Architecture, Ariel Levy of Gensler, and Hannah Markham of Baskerville. Next on the agenda is Firm Leader in Architecture. At an early age, this Best of Year winner found himself moving between countries, from Pakistan and South Africa to Iran and Italy, where he discovered the wonder of architecture, like this square in Isfahan, Iran. He credits his mentors Mikado and Silvetti, who taught him about the joy of unexpected juxtapositions. Speaking of unexpected, for the first time in 40 years during COVID, he discovered that the alchemy of cooking is akin to architectural formulations. Love the eggplant on his head. And he holds many of his classes and office meetings from within this very clean and lab-like kitchen. His sense of wonder has helped him create unique spaces around the world, like here in Canada. The Daniels Building embodies a holistic approach to urban design and sustainability, engaging students and the broader community into dialogue about the built environment. Meanwhile, establishing inspiring interiors for those students. Oh yes. A villa in France responds to the site, complete with an olive tree grove and vineyard. Wow. Creating living spaces that have spectacular views at every turn. And he doesn't just design education. Teaching has been a big part of his life. He's taught at the Harvard Graduate School of Design, RISD, the Georgia Institute of Technology, and others. He was professor of architecture at MIT, where he served as the head of the department for 4 years, and he's now dean of the Irwin S. Chanin School of Architecture at the Cooper Union in New York. He lectures, teaches, researches, exhibits, and is a force in the field with a singular vision. Our Best of Year Firm Leader in Architecture goes to Nader Tehrani of NADA. Yay! Hooray! You're amazing. Next, our Firm Leader of Corporate Interiors. Our next design leader was born in a small town called Santa Espiritu in Cuba. He left with his family when he was just 3, with nothing more than this suit on his back. Even as a youngster, he always wanted to be an architect. He remembers having this clear vision for his room and telling his mom, and has kept this black and white plaid swatch of the bedspread and drapery from that first bedroom when he was 10. Early years in the US, he felt handicapped by the language, so he compensated by creating original drawings in class that forced him to excel in areas other students didn't have to. This lilac floor plan is on watercolor paper using a technique of applying watercolor with an airbrush compressor. Love it. Fast forward today, as global design leader at Gensler, he provides thought leadership and innovative solutions in architecture, in design, and business strategy, and has been with the firm for more than 3 decades. As a firm-wide consumer products practice area leader and principal in Gensler's New York office, he focuses on shaping the strategic role of design in clients' enterprises, along with fostering the next generation of design talent. For Hearst Digital Media, Gensler's goal was to promote a fluid production process for digital and editorial teams as multimedia demands evolve across platforms. You're telling me. The eclectic design theme embraced innovation and diversity across culture and across generations. This workspace for Verizon's marketing team provides a simple, reliable, and human-centered environment. The office accommodates employees in an active-based work environment with a variety of work settings, allowing employees to choose where and how they work. To get away from all that work, he creates art by knitting. Objects, not sweaters and hats. He calls them conversations, each representing thousands and thousands of words spoken with family and friends over the phone and now over Zoom. He's the global design guardian for all work Google does with Gensler, shaping strategy, shaping minds, and shaping design. Our firm leader for corporate interiors goes to the brilliant Carlos Martinez of Gensler. Inspiring, isn't it? Our next leader is an Icelandic architect based in Los Angeles who was born around natural beauty. And speaking of beauty, she's a beauty herself. Her first real job was modeling. She called it her magic carpet to see the world. And while other models were smoking and not eating, she was eating crepes and getting lost in the Louvre. That's so her. She still gets inspired by travel to this very day. You can find her getting her Wild West cowgirl on or floating among icy mountains, soaking in all that inspiration. She first studied biology and mathematics before switching to architecture. And you can still see the influence of nature and rigor in her work. The design for this resort in China is based on the local flower, the lotus. From the rough edges to the delicate flowers, she sees nature reflected in jewelry, in art, and in fashion. This California restaurant mixes materials for a lavish palette. From refined bronze to yellow leather to terrazzo and marble. For a restaurant in Paris, she wanted to put the chef on stage so patrons could smell the food being cooked and feel the energy of the kitchen. Drama mixed with luxury. For her keen eye that creates beauty wherever and whatever it touches, our firm leader for hospitality interiors is the beautiful Gula Youngsdotter. Amazing. Well, how about a rousing round of applause to our best of year winners? Are you dancing in your living room? Are you taking selfies and posting on Instagram? You better be. Are you ready for more? I am. Our next is firm leader in branding. Our brand leader studied art history and architecture in college, but fell in love with design when she realized it wasn't so much about creating art, but rather solving problems. She learned strategic thinking from two mentors. Her first boss, Britta Larson, now a successful talent and people development entrepreneur, taught her it takes a village. And Hans Dorsenville, now the CCO of Beauty at Gotham, taught her to never assume. She incorporates these lessons learned on collaboration and excellence on all her projects. For Thrive Farmers Coffee, she connected consumers with the good works the brand was doing. To help communicate the work of the farmers, work shirts went into an art installation. Don't you love that? And touches like weaving by Nicaraguan artists are mixed throughout the space. The Protagonist Clubhouse celebrates craft beer, but maintains a clean vibe. A secret code was developed for the visual identity. I want to know what it is. For Anchovy Social, a rooftop bar in DC, anchovies became social creatures, smiling and jumping throughout menus and coasters and signage. What would surprise most about her is her newfound love of boxing. She enjoys the mental strength and agility. It taught her how to literally and figuratively pivot, to be both fully present in the moment, but also nimble enough to move, shift, and recalibrate at a moment's notice. For keeping it punchy, the winner of Firm Leader for Branding goes to Lin Yuan from Brand Bureau. Next, we have Firm Leader Industrial Designer. This leader is a unique mind and a distinct voice in our cultural landscape. He crisscrosses from luxury to the more democratic, and he also works in branding and packaging. You could say design was etched in his DNA. Look at his dad's painting. They say, like father, like son, and it started early. This was his first award for drawing luggage. Don't you just love these old memories we get to share? He studied in Milan under Ettore Sottsass, who taught him not to be too much of an artist in order to be a great designer. What counts at the end is to help the world become a better place. He believes design is a creative act, a social act, a political act, and an economic act. And he still keeps Sottsass's collection close to him. Once a year, he tries to get a tattoo in a country he is working in. His first was in Toronto 23 years ago, each symbol etched onto his body, standing for his belief in global unity and is a symbol of that city. The O chair, now part of SF MoMA's collection, is both ergonomic and kinetic. But it retails for just $60. And then there's the Chelsea collection, inspired by compact living spaces. The less is more kind of philosophy. This Cadmo lamp is designed as if it actually contains its own luminosity. It's a solid painted steel surface forged into a fluid shape to rise up and embrace what appears to be a volume of light, like a veil or a monastic robe. A small gesture with a big impact. Check this out. The sales are at over $17 million. He's the definition of the word prolific, with more than 4,000 designs in production and clients worldwide. Our firm leader for industrial design is the one and only, yes, Karen Rashid. Amazing. Our next category is product design. This duo leads a singular firm established by master architect Zaha Hadid in 2006. Every design speaks to the firm's story: fluid geometries, timeless innovation, elegance beyond the ordinary. The portfolio includes lighting, furniture, and finishes, along with commissions in every discipline, from fashion to jewelry to set design. Their mentor, Zaha, taught them that there are 360 degrees, so why stick to one? This is a painting called The World. That's 89 degrees. They are guided by research and exploration and organic geometry. And their work uses cutting-edge technologies and brand new vision. In the Opus Hotel in Dubai, the sofas to the mirrors speak to the hotel's language: fluid and forward thinking. Oh yeah. When designing objects, Zaha was never constrained by any given use or spatial context. And they continue to follow and draw strength from this approach, so that this collection has room to evolve without compromising the integrity of the design. In this installation for Maison Auger, the elements can nest, can lock together, and can be reconfigured. They're both marvelously simple and complex at the same time. When they hit a creative rut, they turn to the Xerox machine to play around. They say it takes the pressure off. And this is so gorgeous. Our firm leaders for product design goes to the brilliant co-directors, Maha Kutai and Woody Zhao of Zaha Hadid Design. And our Firm Leader honorees are, we have Sarah Duffy for Stonehill Taylor, Alessia Genova of Tihani Design, and Chris Anne-Marie Spencer of Wheeler Kearns Architects, and Sasha Wagner of Huntsman Architectural Group. A big congrats. Next, we have Product Designer. Her ethos is design the life you love, which is embodied in each object she creates. She is one of Fast Company's Most Creative People 2017 and recognized as a #1 coach in life design by Marshall Goldsmith Leading Coaches. And she gives lectures on design the life and work you love to many corporations. And is a co-founder of Bursell & Sec, the award-winning design and innovation studio, consulting with the likes of, like Amazon, GE, IKEA, Staples, and Toyota, among others. Years ago, she was planning on architecture school when a family friend came to tea and discussed industrial design, about the edge of the teacup and the handle, and that was it for her. To this day, she is known for her tea service and having real conversations over Earl Grey. And during COVID, she hosts a weekly virtual tea. Rowena Reed Costello was her mentor and teacher at Pratt. She was 80 years old and became her first friend in New York City. Her methodology of 3D design and how she taught something so abstract through a concrete step-by-step process has influenced so many great designers of today. Designed to create visual clarity in open plan offices, Herman Miller's Overlay helps people understand where their best work will happen and gives companies the agility to evolve on the fly. Overlay comes without the cost of prefabricated walls or the burden of traditional construction. It's completely customizable and can be outfitted with colors, textiles, laminates, glass, marker boards, or a custom material. You take your pick. A Lev meeting by Newcraft was conceived as mid-century modern design. A statement piece of the workplace, the table was crafted with a 4-piece veneer top. Power connectivity is discreet, accessible at either the tabletop or within the table apron. Now, as you can see, she designs at all scales. For the kitchen, she thought of everything, right down to embossing that guides where you set down your cookie dough. And how about a peeler that actually can peel any veg? Yep. She says thinking like a designer means being empathetic. It's about having your heart and pulling from your core self. We know everything you do comes from deep within. Our best of year product designer, thought leader extraordinaire is the one and only Aisha Purcell. And our product design honorees go to Brad Ascalon, Daniel Stromberg of Gensler, and Giovanni Barbieri. A super congrats. Now we have our product designer rising star. Very exciting. This stylish star who says, I like big shirts, I can't lie, realized early on that to be a successful young company, you have to be a master of many things. And to fully understand all that goes into the word design, you have to think, research, revise, edit, critique, manage, organize, prioritize, lead, sell, and then repeat. It didn't hurt that she's highly visually attuned and a voracious reader who studied art and art history at the University of Washington and at RISD, where she met her husband and design partner, Ben Blanc. The studio opened in 2015, and with an unrelenting dedication to perfection, she has crafted gorgeous creations, including one-of-a-kind mirrors that are somehow both delicate and rustic. The Float collection is based on the idea that one mirror is good, but more mirrors are much better. and we completely agree. And the Apollo sconce is all about immersive light. She calls it pushing the envelope of lighting innovation. Keep your eyes open for this rising star. She is Aja Blanc of Ben and Aja Blanc. And our product designer rising star honoree goes to Sarah Henry of Coghlan. How about another look at the Best of Year award by our good friends at Claris? Kind of fab, huh? Oh yeah. Next up, our manufacturer creative director. An early job for our creative director was bricklaying. That energy of using his hands and that physical labor shows up today in his mold making. About his childhood in the Czech Republic, he grew up in the 70s and 80s, lived on Lenin Street nearby Lenin Metro Station, learned about Lenin in school, and even read fairy tales about the Soviet leader. He's inspired by the details in the natural world, finding unexpected textures and symbols to create special objects full of meaning, like this volcano pendant. The surfaces were blown to resemble the landscape around oozing volcanoes, the place where lava cools down and then hardens. Wow. For Frozen, he carefully studied the way water becomes ice and brought that beauty and that process to glass making. He sure did. Did we mention he's so theatrical? And we love it. Memento Mori is inspired by the Czech site Sedlec Ossuary, which contains tens of thousands of skeletons. He managed to take something very dark and create something full of light. He's participated in over 90 joint exhibitions, and his works are included in the collections at the V&A, among many others. He remembers the words of John Baldessari, "You have to be possessed, which you can't will." Well, we are obsessed with the creative director of Lasvit. This is Maxim Vilkovsky. Amazing! And our creative director honorees go to Anna Bilanova of Vigo and Seth Fritz of Delta Faucet. Congrats! Okay, our next category is manufacturer, in-house marketer. This Best of Year marketer has some design chops in her family. Check this out. Her mom was a decorator, teaching a design class from the family dining room. Hi, Mom Barbara, and sent her back along with all her clippings. Her own design journey was uncertain, but Samuel Botero, a Pratt alum, became a mentor, telling her that interior design is a solution to a problem. His words resonated loud and clear, and she took a giant leap of faith into design. Early on, she was the design prize winner from the University of Copenhagen's DIS Architecture and Design summer term 2005, and she also has a master's degree in interior design from Pratt. But she wanted to pass on her passion for design to people in another way, and she has now been a seasoned marketing, branding, and PR professional with over 13 years in commercial textiles. Wow. For Knoll Textile's 70th anniversary, she paid homage to their history while modernizing the concept of fabric as art. The Dedicated to Design campaign was developed to showcase Knoll Textile's long-standing position of leadership in color, pattern, and fabric innovation. Oh yeah. During COVID, she launched an entire collection, that's 4 upholsteries, 2 draperies, and 3 wall coverings using only virtual tools. Well, plus a physical launch box containing collateral, samples, and a new color of Knoll Textile's famous nail polish, mailed directly to the homes of 1,500 clients. And they promoted Material Bank on email signatures to better service designers working from home. Oh yes. Since time these days with designers and material libraries are precious and ever shrinking, she developed a branded memo display box made of recycled cardboard and used in a number of unique ways. Use it for memos, check. Use it as a visual display, or a section can be removed, leaving room for gifts and snackies, check. Upholding the legacy launched by Florence Knoll in 1947 and assuring its relevancy today while blazing a clear path into the future is no easy task. But she is up for the challenge because she knows a thing or two about overcoming challenges. In 2001, she was diagnosed with stage 2 bulky Hodgkin's lymphoma. On the marathon, she has now run multiple ones and will ride another 62.5 miles again this fall in hopes of someday curing cancer. She's a winner in life and design. Our in-house marketer goes to Caroline Olivier of Knoll Textiles. Fabulous. Up now is Best of Year Marketer. Here we go. She is the founder and president of her own award-winning integrated marketing, PR, and social agency. The firm is committed not only to serving the industry, but also bettering it. After a job for the Italian Trade Commission, she started her own marketing and PR firm. In the early days, it was the rotary phone. And oh wait, isn't that a copy of Interior Design magazine? And by the way, there's a rip in the corner. Here are some of her 25-year highlights. In 2003, she co-founded Brooklyn Designs to put Brooklyn cool on the map. And she did. She represents some of the world's most important design brands, as well as prestigious trade shows, including Salon des Mobiles, Neocon, Chursai, and the AD Design Show. Her first client ever is still a client, Ceramics of Italy, along with a host of other leading brands and firms like Humanscale, HBF, and Oppenheim Architecture. And there's more. She sits on the advisory council to NYC by Design, is active with ASID, and is a board of trustee of DIFA. Yes. In late spring, she led the agency and Design Stands Together to focus on the Black Lives Matter movement, activating her leadership team to focus on efforts to make the design industry more diverse and equitable. Oh, and she's like a mama bear to a fierce team. She runs her firm like a family or cooperative. They work hard, but also they have fun together. Oh, and I hear there's mandatory Zumba. Some of her favorite phrases are, "Is it special? Would you enjoy that? I'm so proud of you. Are you dating anyone right now? I'll just have half. And thank you for being here." Thank you and brava to founder and president of Novita Communications. Our Best of Year marketer is Chris Abate. Yay, Chris. Amazing. Next, we have Manufacturer Lifetime Achievement. This Best of Year winner is the owner and CEO of a Danish family-owned furniture company. Can you guess? He represents the third generation and is the grandson of founder Carl Hansen. Here they are. He's the youngster on the left, dad in the middle, and dapper founder Carl Hansen on the right. His mentor was his father, Holger, who taught him to be honest, ambitious, and fair. As a small boy, he often went to the carpentry workshop with his father and grew quite close to the craftsmen there. And he says watching them shape the wood had a mesmerizing effect on him. Also, listening to his father's conversations with designers like Hans Wegner made an incredible impression. I mean, can you imagine? Under his leadership, the firm's family has grown from 20 people to almost 400 employees and has opened flagship stores and showrooms around the globe. Now, let's talk furniture. The CH78 Mama Bear chair was created in collaboration with Hans Wegner's daughters, who managed their father's legacy. See, it's all about the family. This daybed was designed in 1958 in response to lifestyles that were already becoming hectic. Boy, do we need more of these right now. All their pieces are designed like the company to be passed down from generation to generation. That means multiple lifetimes and many, many stories. In his spare time, he enjoys gardening and walking the dog, while thinking about future products to launch. Luckily, his job is also his passion. The winner of Manufacturer Lifetime Achievement goes to, drumroll please, Knud Erik Hansen of Carl Hansen & Sons. And my one question is, can I be part of your family? And our last category, Designer Lifetime Achievement. Oh boy. This Lifetime Best of Year Award winner is wildly credited with redefining modern luxury through equal parts emphasis on architecture and interior design, including award-winning residential, retail, cultural, and hospitality projects worldwide. Well known for integrating art within his architectural designs, he has commissioned more than 300 site-specific works of art. Wow! He holds an architecture degree and got his start working summers at SOM, but founded his own firm in 1978, and he never looked back. From Paris to London to Beijing and back again, he has created spaces in every corner of the globe, and he's worked across sectors, from sleek retail flagships to sumptuous private homes. His client list reads like a who's who: Chanel, Dior, Louis Vuitton. I could go on and on. A sweeping double helix staircase in this Louis Vuitton in Bond Street is like a glorious sculpture, along with 43 other artworks. Unbelievable. In South Korea, an austere massing comprised of 2 polished angular volumes in white marble serves as a powerful, calming statement. The interior concept was established in response to the duality of the clientele, young and up and coming, and mature and established. So the interiors very much aligned to the projected customer base, one raw and urban, and the other more polished and refined. For a private residence in the Hamptons, an elegant glass container atop stone plinths was conceived in response to the client's desire to minimize site interventions and maximize views. A centralized open living space with 10-foot tall doors opening up to 14 feet wide with those ultra narrow frames served as the exterior walls for each cube. Glass and stone were chosen to emphasize transparency and permanence. Limestone is used for its durability and visual reference to the gorgeous landscape. When he's not sowing the seeds of design, he's cultivating his own garden, which has become a masterpiece. He says it's his creative antidote to stress. His other creative hobbies? Well, there are many. Collecting bronze, porcelain, and photography. Sports? Yep. Tennis, skiing, motorcycle riding. Plus, designing his bronze boxes, reading, doing Sudoku, and working on his art foundation to open next year. He is a member of the International Committee of MAD in Paris and supported the 2006 restoration of one of the museum's renowned period rooms by Pierre Chareau in 1925, who remains a design inspiration and reference for all his work. Peek behind the curtain and you realize you are dealing with an off-the-charts exceptional mind. I'll just tell you that he studies Russian for fun. It is my honor to give this Best of Year Lifetime Achievement Award to the one and only Peter Marino. Well, there you have it, our first ever Best of Year People. I think it was marvelous, don't you? Now, in case you can't get enough, tomorrow, that's Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, get out your popcorn because we're going to have a Best of Year marathon. And we're playing the entire week of Best of Student Design, Best of Product, Best of Project, and Best of People for 2020. It's almost too much goodness to bear, right? Now, I look forward to seeing you in person next year. But meanwhile, sending love and hugs and a big congrats to all our winners and honorees. Go forth and design from all of us at Interior Design. You're the best.